Alright, what's going on, guys? Hope you all are having a good day. So, today we're going to be looking at all of the major changes coming to zombies with Cold War Season 5. Now, if you guys didn't know, this was actually delayed by about 24 hours. For some unknown reason, they added 24 hours onto the Battle Pass timer in Season 4, so Season 5 is going to be actually releasing sometime tomorrow. But today, we're going to be looking at how the new Death Perception perk exactly is going to work in all of its skill tier upgrades, as well as the new field upgrade and how those tiers are going to work and impact the game. Some really big changes coming to Outbreak, and even some teasers for the next round-based map. So, also on top of that, we're getting some really bizarre changes to weapons. It's not like a typical balance patch that we'll get every once in a while. Some weapons are getting adjusted, as well as getting unique attachments to that weapon, which we'll discuss in a little bit. But if you guys do go to enjoy today's video, I would really appreciate a thumbs up. If you enjoy zombies and would like to see more content, then also consider subscribing to the channel. At the moment, 77% of my audience is not currently subbed, so if that's one of you, join the club today. I also do want to say we've got a really great year ahead of us for zombies, and I'm unbelievably motivated to make content, so I'm very grateful for each and every one of you that have decided to stick around. But with that being said, let's get started. Now, the other day we did mention that Collateral is coming to Outbreak as a location, but based on the screenshots and also from what Treyarch has just told us in these patch notes, it might be a little bit different to maybe what we've seen in like multiplayer, because it seems to be that some degree of this is made specifically for zombies, and I'm thinking this is possibly related to where the next Outbreak Easter egg will take place. And I do want to quickly mention exactly what they say in regards to zombies content for the season. They say, as we continue development on our next round-based map in Black Ops Cold War, get ready for new content to enjoy in every pillar of the zombies experience in Season 5. That starts with a new upgradable perk, field upgrade, and support weapon coming to all round-based maps and Outbreak. Now, we're going to wrap around back to Outbreak and a lot of the big changes coming to it later in the video because it's fairly important, but I think I want to discuss the thing that is somewhat of a more pressing topic right now, and let's break down the new perk, Death Perception. How is exactly this going to function, and all the skill tiers work? So, Death Perception is introduced as such. First up, Death Perception, this incredibly useful perk, is all about survivability, awareness, salvage drop rates, and increased armor damage. Now, that was one of the things they mentioned the other day about having a perk that isn't necessarily all about just putting out sheer DPS, and something that's a little bit more of just a, like, peripheral awareness perk, and that's fair enough. So, let's go over the abilities. The base ability of Death Perception with no upgrades will have obscured enemies are keylined through walls. This is exactly how it functioned in BO4. You could somewhat detect enemies coming through a barrier before they actually enter. Now, that might not sound super useful, but if you're doing like first room challenges or even playing holdout locations on Outbreak, that can be a lifesaver. If you're a player that likes just to run around somewhat haphazardly, then this can help you like not get trapped by a zombie coming out of a barrier, surprisingly, or coming out of the ground. But in terms of its upgrades, Death Perception's tier 1 skill ability will have your minimap's update refresh rate increased. So when you look at your minimap generally in Cold War Zombies, you have that pulse every couple of seconds to let you know where enemies are. This is pretty self-explanatory. It's just going to refresh quicker. To be honest, doesn't really sound that useful all in all, in my opinion. I don't know exactly how this is going to help people, but we'll see. But anyways, tier 2 is a little bit more useful. Now, honestly, for experienced players and people who have been playing the game a long time, this might not be of value too much, but I would say to generally newer players, this could be quite good. But basically, enemies will give danger indicators when they're behind the player. It had this function in BO4 as well. Anything behind you can kind of have just with good game awareness, but in case you're getting snuck up on a lot or zombies are downing you from behind, then maybe this will be of benefit to you. But honestly, so far pretty tame upgrades, all things considered. Tier 3 is a little bit more interesting. It'll allow you to gain 20% more looted salvage and high grade salvage. That might not sound like a huge deal, but 20% more salvage is actually a game changer. As far as like maybe if you're trying to get into early rounds for like boss fights, specifically maybe the Outbreak one or even like D Machine or Maurid or Toten, getting these things upgraded on the earliest round possible, a lot of times just comes to how much salvage you can get, and a 20% increase over the span of your game actually means a ton, especially this will be really good for high rounds as well. That in and of itself is a very worthwhile upgrade, but tier 4, this is the big one, will give you an increase in armor penetration damage by 25%. And that's actually a really big deal, because one of the things making a lot of weapons useless right now in Cold War Zombies, specifically like single shot pistols and whatnot, is it is effectively useless against anything armored, and a lot of weapons for that matter kind of fall into that category. A 25% increase in armor penetration, that's going to be a huge power creep for players in order to take down the regular armored zombies quicker, and even panzers. So to a degree, we have double tap kind of baked into Death Death Perception. Now, its tier 5 upgrade, in a very strange twist, has Vulture Aid baked into it. So this upgrade will allow nearby chests, resources, and item drops will be keylined through walls. This means you will be able to tell mimics apart from actual, like, usable items. If you never played with Vulture Aid in Black Ops 2, it'll allow you to solve virtually everything that's interactable through walls and across the entire map. Now, I don't believe this will work for Easter egg steps or see, like, main quest parts through walls, or, like, because this would completely break an Easter egg hunt. I'm sure it doesn't work that way. Stuff like armor chests, wall buys, and things of that nature will most likely be included. This is backed up by their statement where they say, just as we've done with other perks in Black Ops Cold War, Death Perception's final upgrade at tier 5 taps into elements of previous classic perks. Fans of Black Ops 2's Vulture Aid will be pleased to gain the ability to see nearby chest resources and item drops outlined through walls after fully upgrading this perk, which comes in handy when mimics are disguised as nearby items, or when hidden objects in Outbreak would otherwise be obscured from your line of sight. Treyarch also mentions Death Perception eventually is going to have its own perk jingle and actual machine location and design, which is really interesting in all round-based maps and in Outbreak. They say in Season 6, Death Perception's dedicated perk machine will debut alongside our 10th and final Perk-a-Cola. What could it be? So Death Perception is going to be interesting. I think the most important upgrades honestly being skill tier 3 and 4. 5 is going to be good, but I don't know how it's going to interact with the game until we actually play it, but it sounds fun regardless. So that's how Death Perception works. Next, let's talk about Tesla Storm, the new field upgrade ability. So its base ability, for 10 seconds, lightning connects to other players, stunning and damaging normal enemies. The skill tier 1 will allow double the damage dealt to enemies stunned by the Tesla Storm. The tier 2 upgrade will increase that duration to 15 seconds instead. Tier 3, special enemies can be stunned and damaged by Tesla Storm. Skill tier 4 will have players generating a field gain 25% increased movement speed. And then the tier 5 upgrade, elite enemies can be stunned and damaged by Tesla Storm. Now, honestly, they do mention how this is going to work solo, because one of the things I was like, this might be only useful co-op, but they say whether you're playing with friends or doing your own thing, Tesla Storm generates a devastating field of lightning around you, so all enemies will be stunned and damaged in close proximity. Coupled with a 25% movement speed boost and the tier 5 ability to stun and damage elites at tier 5, this field upgrade has the potential to get you out of the stickiest situations. To be quite honest, I don't know how good or like meta this field upgrade is going to be. It's one of those things like Ring of Fire, a lot of people thought was only going to be useful co-op, but it's actually one of the best in the game when used properly. Tesla Storm could function very much the same way, but I guess we won't really know until we are able to get in game and lab and try it out and stuff. Also, the next support weapon we're getting as a craftable item is of course the flamethrower, and personally I'm really excited about this one because it seems like it's not only going to be unbelievably fun to use, and it's very classic zombies in that way, but it sounds like it's actually going to be useful. Flamethrower is significantly cheaper in terms of salvage compared to like a lot of the other craftable items, i.e. the death machine and the war machine. So I assume this will probably be the best support item for like slowly and methodically hoarding zombies and taking them out efficiently. A little bit better than the war machine in that regard because it's pretty much the best weapon for that purpose. I doubt it'll kill as fast as the war machine will, but it will most likely be able to like burn longer, no pun intended, than the war machine will. So real quick, let's talk about the new Outbreak objective transport a little bit, and also the things that are coming to Outbreak. Now, they say we're pulling out all the stops with the new collateral region transport objective, tank vehicle, grapple gun crafting item, and disciple enemies. Interestingly, Outbreak is getting 2 new playlists, and I'll discuss that in a second, but they do mention that a specific Outbreak incarnation of collateral has been crafted just for zombies, with a custom play space bounded by the confines of the dark ether and an eerie sandstorm filling the Algerian desert skyline. Now, they don't mention exactly how the new transport objective is going to work, but they do say if you've ever wanted to take on an Orda inside a tank, then your wish has been granted. I'm going to go ahead and guess that you need to basically be in a tank or take a tank carrying some kind of valuable thing through treacherous domain, you know, maybe past an Orda and like a lot of zombies, maybe across the map. It's hard to say for sure, but I'm just going to assume that's how transport will work. Of course, it will be on all maps. But really interestingly, Outbreak has 2 new modes, or at least playlists, and one of them is going to be endless, which is like traditional, what we're all used to with Outbreak, but there's also like a 3-region mode where you literally transport through 3 different regions, but once you get to the 3rd one, the only thing you can do is exfil. This is for people who just want to jump in, play a couple objectives and farm some easy Ethereum crystals. Now, I don't really know if that was necessary because I feel like people who wanted to do that anyways would just exfil on an early round, but I guess it's the equivalent to having the round-based, like, 20-round cap playlist. But Outbreak is getting a lot more love, and it looks like they're slowly but surely molding this mode into what it could be. I'm hoping that the next Outbreak Easter egg, which presumably is coming in Season 5 Reloaded, setting up for the next round-based map, is going to be an absolute stunner. Stand by it all day. The Legion boss fight in Outbreak still is the best boss fight in Cold War Zombies, and if they can somehow top that and the third Outbreak Easter egg, I will be a very impressed lad. Now, real quick, I'm going to go over some of the new weapon changes, and specifically, I want to talk about the XM4, and we can use this as like a base in terms of a lot of the things that are changing. The assault rifles are just getting a little bit of a buff in general, but the XM4 is getting a mag clamp, the SAS getting replaced with a unique Black Ops mini clamp attachment. Going to increase the reload quickness by 50% and the ADS time by 10%. However, this will change the starting ammo from 30 to 25. These are global changes, so this will also affect like multiplayer and stuff, but for the most part, assault rifles seem to be getting a pretty decent buff, and if you want to know all of the really specific changes coming to like the QBZ, XM4, FARA, and even some of the SMGs, I'll have the link to the full notes in the description. You can read up on those. Also, Tombstone has been adjusted a little bit. Tombstone will now, you'll take 25% less damage while you're in Tombstone Shadow form, and that's really helpful because one of the things that's super annoying is trying to revive yourself and you still take completely the maximum amount of damage, and on high rounds it's nearly impossible to pick yourself back up, as useful or not as it might be. The cost in order to receive your Tombstone stash has also been completely removed as well, so you just get your stuff back for free, which is nice. Very strangely, Mauer Toten had a couple of hidden surprises added. Literally no context, this is all they said, but it looks like some new Easter eggs have been added to that map. So those of you who want to go and discover it, get hunting because there's new stuff to find in Mauer Toten. Also, the new Echelon map will be making its way to Onslaught for zombies, and speaking of which, Onslaught is very shortly coming to every other platform. Those of you who have been unable to play it on a PC or Xbox, shortly will be getting this mode in just about like a month or two. Also, a metric ton of bug fixes in this next update for Season 5, and if you want to know all those specifics, once again, just like the patch notes for the weapons, I'll have that linked in the description so you can read up on them. But that's going to be pretty much it for all of the major changes coming for zombies. We've got quite a loaded season ahead of us, and I think Season 5 Reloaded and 6 are going to be absolutely massive for zombies, and I hope Cold War Zombies ends with a bang. It's going to be good stuff, and we've got, again, quite the year ahead of us, so make sure y'all stick around. But anyways, that's going to be pretty much it for the video. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think about it down below. Also, I do stream over on Twitch. If you haven't already followed me, link to that's in the description. But drop a like before you go, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you all in the next one. Take care, everybody. I gotta go, and peace out.